All right, we're going to talk about ankle pain and swelling. As we know, many of our viewers, according to our views, have pain and swelling in their ankles.
Right.
We're going to go through the most 7 common causes for this swelling and pain and give you self-treatment options. And this is from experience, and we've been
done
there.
it.
We've done it for
Right,
years
we've
and
been there.
years and years. So very good. 8.9.3 seconds, something like that. We'll be back.
Bob and Brad, the 2 most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Okay, the first cause of ankle pain and swelling is simply trauma. In other words, you sprained your ankle, you dropped something on your foot, something of that nature.
Who's done that?
Yeah, it's very
sprained
obvious.
ankle.
So you have swelling from that, you can just get some ACE wrap.
Right.
Any typical ACE wrap, and you're going to wrap the ankle. We do have videos on how to do this specifically.
Correctly.
Tighter down here, looser up here. And then you're going to elevate it, as I'm doing here, with some pillows lying down.
And a Bob and Brad ice pack.
There you go. Yeah, you can either buy one like that. You can actually
Nice and pliable.
make some really nice ice packs. We have videos on how to make your own at
Right.
home. And you're going to lie here for 15 to 20 minutes. Let the gravity pull the fluid down, the compression, the cold pack, and then, of course, don't walk on it so much.
Right.
Do things that do not irritate it. All right, we're going to number 2. Another common cause of swelling and pain in the feet and ankles are arthritis.
Right. Good old art.
That's right. You have to remember there's 26 bones in each foot and ankle and 33 joints. And in those joints, they articulate and rub up against each other when you walk. And if they're arthritic, that can create pain as the day goes on.
Right.
So you get some inflammation, the swelling. So be
Lots
careful.
of fun stuff.
Yeah. And if you don't have proper footwear, you want to look at that. You're not going to be on your feet as long as you should, maybe you're just too much.
Quite often wider footwear.
Yeah, wider, more support.
Right.
Now, if you do get this, and this is something x-rays will show at a doctor's office, they're going to give, NSAIDs, ibuprofen, Tylenol. You may get a prescription from your doctor depending on how serious it is. Also, you can, wrap as well at the end of the day.
And you might use a cane for a while.
Yeah, use a cane.
Temporary.
Something so that you take the weight bearing off of those
Right.
joints.
Let it calm down.
Exactly right. And this is one place where I think you could use, if you don't want to use the wrap, because it takes a while to put these on, and it's going to be a long-term thing. You're going to have arthritis in your foot and ankle for quite a while, more than likely. But this is tuba grip, and it's nice.
It's like a sleeve.
It's sleeve, and it goes on very nicely, and it's not too tight. Some people think if you want to wrap it, you should wrap it tight. Not the case. And there you go.
Yeah, you can get a whole roll of it.
Yep.
And cut off.
Yep, you buy it by the roll. It's relatively cheap, by the roll anyways. It's just another option.
Right.
All right, going to number 3. Okay, now with lymphedema is the next topic or source of swelling in your ankles. Now, lymphedema, lymph is fluid in your body as the blood flows down, feeds your muscles, all your tissues. There's actually some fluid, it's called lymph, that gets out of the blood system and into the inner cellular area, and that's normal, and that's called lymph, and the body will channel that lymph up just underneath the skin, and it goes all the way up into the lymph nodes.
If it's working right.
Right, if it's working right. The lymph node filter out the bad stuff, and your body recycles it.
Right.
Yep. So what happens is there can be
Blockages.
blockages, exactly, Bob, and that causes the fluid, the lymph, it's not blood.
To build up.
Yep. And boy, we've seen some
Huge legs.
very, very swollen ankles, very painful, to the point where they actually start to weep.
Right.
There's so much
They
fluid
break,
in there.
the skin breaks open.
And, if you're at that point, you need to see a doctor.
Right.
You're not just going to do what we're going to do here. I
Yeah.
mean, the treatment here you will do, but you want more than that if it's that bad. So with lymphedema, it's really critical you're not going to buy ACE wrap.
Right.
Typical ACE wrap. You have to buy something called Compressive.
Compressive.
I would definitely have a professional show you how to wrap because it is a specific
Less
manner.
stretch.
Yep. Too much compression is very critical that you do not have that.
Right.
It
Avoid that.
Yep. It becomes a blockage in itself and makes it worse. We oftentimes will use what we talked about is the tuba grip.
Right.
It's not very compressive. It's relatively cheap, easy to put on. We do have some information on that for more details. So lymphedema, again, you need to see your doctor. It's going to probably be in both legs almost always, and get it treated. There may be some medications to help it out. Elevation.
You might get fit with stockings.
Right, yep, some compression stockings. All this stuff gets much more detailed.
Right.
Professional help is the best way to go.
Absolutely.
Okay, another cause of that swelling is congestive heart failure, CHF commonly called, and it's a result of your heart not being efficient. It's not pumping the blood out and bringing it back throughout the whole system.
Right.
I'm not going to get into the details, but once again, a doctor will find this and get you diagnosed, and there's some treatment that you're going to need for your heart. There's also lifestyle changes that are likely going to be prescribed in regards to diet, exercise, and those are big. Those are important, so you do not need as many medications, which most people like to avoid.
Right.
Also with CHF, simple things like elevating your legs, getting the gravity to work for you as opposed to against you. Again, if you're going to use wraps with this, I would get professional help, have it instructed to make sure you did it properly, and go from there.
If you can even do it.
Right, yeah, because sometimes
can overload the heart.
Right, you get too much fluid up to the heart, and that's my father had that actually.
Really?
But his was from diet, too much salt.
Salt.
Yeah,
right.
he got a helicopter ride for $22,000 to the hospital though.
Oh, fun!
It's true. So again, CHF is something you need to get consult from your doctor.
Right.
Another common reason for this is pregnancy. Now, Bob, you and I are not
Not a problem with us.
Yeah, we are not experts, and we're not going to talk too much about it. But the water and the fluid ends up
very common.
Yeah, getting trapped in the legs. It's not unusual. Your doctor will guide you through the proper steps. Don't listen to Bob and Brad on this one. Just go to the doctor.
Forget us.
Okay, now this next one is pretty serious, Bob. Or it can be. It's called a deep vein thrombosis. In other words, a blood clot. The unique thing about a blood clot in swelling, it is almost only happens in one side or one leg.
Right.
Bob, you're getting ready to talk about it? Yep.
And you can tell if you have it by bringing the foot up and squeezing the calf.
Right. Now, I want to say, I know there's studies that say this test is not very reliable. Right. So you can do it, and it might test positive. You go to the doctor. If you're lucky, he'll say, what was a false test? But still, you got to go in.
Right.
One way or another. You don't want to mess around with swelling, especially if there's no apparent reason for it. You've never had it.
Right.
There's pain associated, maybe some.
Only one leg.
Yep. Redness, some warmth.
Right.
DVTs, they're easy to treat if caught in time. So, and also, if you have that, you probably want to avoid exercising. Your doctor will let you know. Sometimes.
And massage.
Yep. Avoid exercise and massage until you get medicated, and there's a certain point where they'll say, now you can get moving.
Right.
When it's cleared. Because you don't want, the biggest problem is you can have you can throw a clot that'll end up
in your lungs.
In your lungs. It can be life-threatening. So it's a big, big thing. So be careful with that one. And number 7 is kidney failure. If you're in early stages or late stages of kidney failure, they may result in swelling in the ankles, typically both sides.
You'll probably know if you are.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that, again, you need to see a doctor. You need to be treated appropriately, get guidance in regards to exercise, and there will be some guidelines for diet and lifestyle to help this as well.
Now, Brad, we should mention, too, that you can get swelling in your legs as you get older, just from standing a long time or,
so
or sitting a long time.
You may go in and they'll say, well, It's not a big deal. You don't need any specific treatment.
Right.
Just changes in, some of the things we talked about:
Ankle
elevation,
pumps.
exercises, ankle pumps, and
Walking.
and then the compressive garments, which are becoming
Right.
very popular. You can buy them. The socks that come up to here, and they're,
Right.
they're tighter down here than they are up here to push the fluid up, and that's a nice situation that. So all these things, we're talking about some of the bad things, but there's a lot of times where it's not.
That's minor.
Yep. So there are other causes for ankle swelling. These are probably the most popular that we've worked with.
Most common.
Yeah,
Not
most
popular.
popular. Yeah. What the hell's wrong with me? All right, get your most popular ankle swelling.
All right, thanks a lot for
Good
watching.
luck.